Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Grace with creationalcodes.com. I'm so happy you're here with me today. This is a completely unedited video, a chit chat about creating your own life. And I am just consistently diving deeper and deeper into this awareness and this experience of noticing how I get to choose my experience and I get to choose how I show up. And it is a hard thing, but also a beautiful thing to acknowledge that the way that we think, the actions that we choose to take, and the way that we choose to perceive the world dictate the way our life looks, right? So some examples of this that I'm experiencing in my daily life, and I feel like more and more so as the energy in the world shifts and we see more and more chaos going on and we see more and more uncertainty and doubt and pain and violence, there are just so many reasons for us to fall into fear and hate and doubt and uncertainty. And it requires a lot of personal vigor and inner authority to be able to say that, no, I choose to perceive the world with love in my heart and with goodness at the root of all creation. It is incredibly difficult to look around the world right now and choose to see life in that way. And they make it this way. You know, there's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of fear and violence being broadcasted and highlighted and pushed into our faces, and a lot of, I would even say, kind of nefarious means that are being pushed, right? Even in nature, in all realms of the means. That is just a reason more and more so to cultivate this inner authority and this awareness of what am I thinking and how are my thoughts creating my reality, because our thoughts do create our reality, and our perception of life through our subconscious mind and through our somatic body is also creating our reality. What do I mean by that? I mean that what we choose to and what we are programmed to think about the world is what the world will appear to us as. If you perceive the world as dark and untrustworthy and painful and confusing, then I would ask you to note your thoughts and what your thoughts are like. And if your thoughts are something like this: I can't trust anyone, I can't trust myself, this is too hard, I won't get through this. When we start to acknowledge that the internal is dictating the external, we have a full body and full overview of life shift and change and exchange. So I struggle with this personally immensely, and I want to share with you how I've been able to cultivate a more positive mindset. I, at one point in my life, I think it was like last year, a year and a half ago, had programmed myself to wake up in the morning, and every morning the first thing I would say is, I love my life, thank you, God. And it was so interesting, like I would just wake up and that would be the first thing I would think, and I would almost say it out loud. And it surprised me a couple times because it just came out of me. Like I didn't know, I wasn't thinking of it, I wasn't planning for it, I wasn't preparing for it. In the beginning I was very consciously creating that experience of choosing to say those words. But the months following I wasn't, and it was still happening day in and day out. And so I'm very sensitive to the pains of the world, right? There's a lot of war going on in the world. There's a lot of nefarious things going on behind the scenes that I would say I believe in. And when we are empathic and when we are so loving and when we are so desiring for there to be peace in this world and we're so caring about other people and all the things going on in the world, it's a lot to hold. It's very painful to hold. And so the body takes a toll on this, right? Because the nervous system has to hold space for that. The emotional body has to hold space for that. All aspects of self have to hold space for all of this chaos because it's dysregulating, and it creates a lot of dis-ease in the body. And the more that we unfilteredly hold space for all of this pain and suffering, the more our body becomes degraded and inflicted upon negatively. So what I do for myself is I actively practice watching my thoughts, as well as creating my life's vision in my third eye and experiencing the emotions of that life's vision in my body when things seem really painful and full of despair. This is a very uncomfortable thing to do because you have to break your narrative, you have to leave your ego at the door, and you have to choose to leave the victimhood and change your state. And that is a very hard thing to do at first. So what I do essentially is I leave that victimhood state of, I'm not good enough for this, nobody likes me, why is it so hard, all of the things I will tell myself, and I will move into a state of, I love myself, I am so deeply loved. And in my third eye, I see that experience of being so deeply loved, and I pull that emotion through my body, through all of my cells, through all of my tissues, and I allow my body to feel that emotion of being so truly loved. And guys, this changes your life, because the way that your body feels and the way that your mind is projecting upon your body dictates the way that your life happens for you actively. Anytime I'm in joy or bliss or love or lust, or not lust, but like pleasure for life, there is so much abundance, ease, and flow that follows that experience. You can see my dog's legs here. When things get crazy, we have to remember that at the root of it all, we are choosing in this here now moment how to hold space for ourselves, how to watch our thoughts and choose and believe that we have the authority in this here now moment to have a better choice, to have a better experience. And sometimes that means leaving behind people who are stuck in abuse and misery and suffering and victimhood, and they just love it. They can't leave it. We have to choose to say that maybe I have to leave my friendships that are stuck in those lower vibrations. I have to come into a greater well-beingness for myself, and maybe I have to stop watching the news, and maybe I have to stop doing all the things that that version of myself was doing, so that I can do all the things that my future version of self is going to prioritize. So when you enter into that state of feeling that happiness and that bliss and what it is to be so deeply loved and what it is to be so deeply safe, and for the whole world to be so nurturing and comforting and alive and beautiful, then you get to say, what does that version of myself who feels like this, what do they prioritize? And you might hear your body say they prioritize rest. They prioritize speaking clearly. They prioritize intelligence. They prioritize their family. I'm not sure what will come up for you, but it will be something that will provide you this invoking of what you've been thinking about that you wanted to do but never made space for. And it will call you deeper into personal responsibility and authenticity for your experience in this here now moment, to take action and to choose to be in that state of mind and to be in that experience with yourself, and to choose that and to live from that experience as if it's already happening, because that's the quantum model. As Joe Dispenza says, he says it's the quantum model, not to wait for things externally to happen before it exists and it's real, but for things to happen internally first so that they can then happen externally. So when you are happy internally, that's the first step, and then it will replicate itself outside of you. It won't happen vice versa. A lot of the times we're waiting for the external to validate our internal so that we can choose to be happy, but we have to choose to be happy so that life can bring us things that create and continue that source of happiness. So that's my little spiel. I hope and pray that you are having a beautiful weekend. And if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would love to hear what I could support you with and talking about in the comments below, what you're moving through, what you need, how it's going. And I will see you guys next time. Please take care. Talk soon.